Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another exciting and informative episode of the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, Mayor of Houndstown, USA, home to the absolute happiest dogs on earth. Joining me today is the very, very lovely Jackie Bondanza, the brains of this operation, actually, the executive brain, the neocortex. She's got a beautiful brain. So we're going to be among other things, we're going to be talking to her today, I think, Jackie. So let's talk about your beautiful brain and my mammalian brain. What are we talking about today, Jackie?
Well, it's funny. Our producer put the topic for today was mammalian brain update. So I said, do we have an update on the mammalian brain? But we always talk about the dog brain versus the sort of the human brain, which is the mammalian brain, right? So today, I think we're just going to kind of talk about the differences and how that plays into our interaction with our dogs.
Right. So I know I used to get criticized for saying mammalian brain, but it's such an important element to how we interact with dogs. So let's just break it down simply for the purposes of this. So there is a theory that's been, maybe not debunked, but fundamentally, our human brain, we have an executive brain, the new cortex, which is the kind of the frontal lobe filled with emotion and intelligence and being able to analyze things and write music, read music. Then we have what we call the mammalian brain, which is what some people would call the dog brain. Just to make it simple, we have the dog brain and the human brain. We also have a third brain, which is the reptilian brain, which is the brain stem. And the brain stem, so these things all interact with one another. Well, people can't see. We always have a brain on our show.
I think they can see.
They can see, but not if you're listening. And my friend Tom Sullivan can't see.
For the people that are...
For those of you who've taken the time, that are smart enough to watch this show, here we have the gray matter in this... and this is all, this big cauliflower is the neocortex, the human brain that has evolved since primates. It's grown and it's full of all kinds of contradictory kind of emotions and feelings. And it's also very intelligent. Love, hate, jealousy, all these things lie here. Here, this little green kind of area, obviously much smaller, more like a couple of walnuts over here. That's the mammalian brain. That's the dog brain. So that's what we're going to talk about. The dog brain versus this. So they're competing with one another almost always. Your human brain, your executive brain, is in competition with your dog brain. And then finally, which we don't really need to talk about, is the brain stem or the reptilian brain. So those three things, we all have them, and they're all interacting with one another constantly. But because we have evolved, the human brain has evolved now more than ever. And that's what I really want to talk about today. I want to talk about, and again, so somebody asked me recently, what do we do different with dogs? Mm-hmm. And my response was, domestic dogs haven't changed in 50,000 years. They're the same. So if we did an X-ray or whatever device, the brain is the same.
Okay.
Our brain is developing.
Right.
So now we're in this computer age. So not only is it's to me a deficit because, when we do our training here, I talk about using our peripheral vision and getting in touch with the animal brain, your dog brain. Mm-hmm. When we were hunters and gatherers 100 years ago, we were hunters and gatherers. Now we're staring at iPads. So now our focus is so binocular now, meaning we're just looking at data, constantly data. We don't leave our homes. There's no hunting and gathering. Dogs have not changed in that regard. So they're scanning the environment. They're triggered by noises, and they're triggered by all of those things. Mm-hmm. So it's important for humans in our world, particularly at doggy daycare, is to understand the difference, how dogs see the world literally see the world and how they operate and are triggered by it.
Well, let's talk about how dogs see the world and talk a little bit about how the difference, right? So dogs see in pictures. They put together a scent picture and a visual picture. It's so different than how we as humans are able to see the world and process what's going on around us.
Absolutely.
So how do dogs see the world and interpret the world around them?
Right. So you hit the nail on the head. Most of it, if you look at a dog's nose, a third of its brain is dedicated to odor, scent, odor. Right. And it takes odor in, and it has the tremendous ability to store and compartmentalize odor, which we can't do. So the old kind of analogy is if you smell pizza, you smell a pizza, a human, and you visualize what a pizza is. A dog smells the ingredients of the pizza. It really can break down the various odors in that. So, but we can almost not understand that.
Right, because we just don't have that capability at all,
so
not even close.
We look at our nose compared to a dog's nose, our main thing is sight and conversation, human language.
Right.
So the example I've given most recently, which I think helps people, because this was a learning experience for me. Madame Tussauds Museum. I don't know if I said Tussauds right. Do you know how to say that?
No.
All right. Well, you know what it is.
Doesn't matter.
It's the Wax Museum.
Yes.
The largest one in the world is in Midtown Manhattan. And it's a 7-story. It's huge. And there's been many political events there. Dignitaries visit, and they have all kind of galas. Gala. They have all these receptions there. So picture this, right? So I had a bomb dog, a bomb detection dog, and my job was to go in before the gala and clear the area for bombs. We did bomb sweeps before these things, and this was after hours at nighttime. So picture 7 stories of wax figures. You got your Marilyn Monroe.
That's scary.
Yeah, scary. So you got your Marilyn Monroes, you got your Elvis Presleys. You have all these figures. So you hit the nail on the head. It's scary. So I have a bomb dog that we've been doing bomb suites all over New York City and on almost every environment you could possibly think of. So what would be possibly different for this bomb sweep? So I go in after hours. I always had to go by myself because other humans would distract the dog. So you can't have people following me around because everything they do would be a distraction to the dog, generally speaking.
And you want the dog, is it right to say you want the dog to focus on the scent of what the explosive and not on the scent of other humans?
Right. But any distraction, if somebody's fumbling around or makes a noise, it would be like a child studying, trying to do a math equation, and now somebody's distracting them. Because dogs like me do have attention deficit disorder because we're distracted by, as I would say, anomalies or changes in the environment. So we walk into Madame Tussauds. I take the elevator up, normal building, normal elevator. We get off on the first floor, and we walk out, and the dog starts growling and barking. And he shut down because he sees. So this is going to get to your point. They see in scent pictures, so they see what looks like a human,
right?
But it has no odor of a human. So the dog literally shut down. He started growling, barking. So I was like, and now I'm freaking out because I thought they saw Elvis Presley move or something. So the point of the matter is just what you said. So to me, I'm confused now because the dog is barking at Elvis Presley. And then there's this he couldn't function. He couldn't move past that.
Because there was a change in the environment that he didn't recognize.
Well, the scent picture.
There was no scent picture.
There was no scent picture, so there was an image. And this is why sometimes, dogs, you'll see your pet at home, they'll bark at the electrician. But the electrician could be your brother-in-law, but when he's wearing his belt, a gun belt, or not gun belt, but, tool belt.
Gun belt.
Well, he may be in this day and age. Your electrician probably has a AR-15. I don't know.
I mean, I would hope my dog would bark at the electrician if he came in my house with a gun belt on.
But you understand, my picture is people are being bitten all the time. When dogs see the scent picture is not the same as what they used to.
Right. And when it doesn't match the visual picture.
It doesn't match, right.
Yeah.
So obviously after that, I understood that dogs now have to be trained where? At Madame Tussauds. In the event I have to do that. But what's the chances of me ever having to search a building with humans without odor?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So dogs seeing scent pictures, can we segue this into why dogs love coming to Houndstown? Or not really? Or we're sticking on our mammalian brain?
No, let's do it.
Okay. So let's think of scent pictures. So think of yourself with not really great eyesight. It's very kind of blurry. You don't really have a sense of anything, really. You just see the world by odor. And this is what we, as you said, we have a hard time understanding. It'd be like having X-ray vision. How do you understand X-ray vision if you can't see through walls?
So I guess it's kind of like if you, like for me, I wear contacts before I got LASIK surgery. And everything, when I wake up in the morning, like everything's super blurry. I can't see anything clearly.
Right. Right. And if you take that further, if you became blind for some reason, now you have to navigate. But a blind person that's born blind can navigate actually sometimes very easily in their environment. So it's fundamentally right. But the dogs are storing odor in their brain. And so when dogs come to doggy daycare, Houndstown, not any doggy daycare, they come to Houndstown. So we talk about a scent cone. Let me ask you if this makes sense to you. A scent cone is wide at the top and it narrows down to the point of the cone. And the point of the cone, so everything in the world has a scent picture, a scent fingerprint. You have a unique scent. You have a unique scent picture. Everything, my coffee, my glasses, every substance on earth has a fingerprint that not you and I can't detect, but dogs take whatever the compounds in this table is, the money in your pocket, everything has an individual.
And that's how they can detect explosives and guns and missing people.
Everything.
So it's the same skill that the dog has.
It's a hunting skill. Yes. And it's so simple that most humans, we can train dogs to find currency, literally currency. So I could take a stack of, back in the day, $100 bills. You couldn't take more than 10,000 cash. So they would train dogs to find currency. Not dollar bills. They couldn't say this is a 20, this is 100. But the ink, the associated ink that is unique to U.S. currency, we could train dogs to find. And as you said, explosive, it's all the same.
Okay, so the cone. The
scent cone. So when a dog is working in a scent cone, so let's say it's deployed to deployed to find a body, it'll get into a scent cone, providing it's upwind and so that it hunts.
So meaning like at the wider part of the cone, the dog will pick up on a piece of scent.
Yes.
And then follow that one scent until it gets stronger and stronger. And stronger.
And they actually actually go back and forth through the scent cone, and it's amazing to watch, but nobody ever has an opportunity to let a dog do it. Right. But every time it goes in your backyard, your dog, our dog, it's finding a scent cone of an animal that was there last night, so to speak. Right. And depending on which way the wind is blowing, and you'll actually look like a sailboat. A dog will look like a sailboat navigating into the scent cone, identifying the final product.
Yep.
So this we know. So now, Houndstown, the home to the happiest dogs on earth. Why is it the home to the happiest dogs on earth? Because there's a series of cues that the dogs get. And everybody knows this. Anytime you go to the dog park or you're getting close to home and it's a positive experience for the dog, people are like, how the hell does he know it? It's pitch black out. Yeah. He just got up in the back seat of the car and he's getting excited and we're a mile away from home.
Yeah.
Or a half a mile. So why is that? So the positive experience, so the trick here is we provide such a natural, we talked about a natural pack. So these dogs are going to come here. We're going to, and that's where we work our magic at Houndstown. We have natural packs where dogs are going to be dogs. They're going to come in. They're going to smell the butts and genitals of all the other dogs. This is what they want to do. They want to identify urine in other dogs, so forth. So that's their reward. So it's very simple. When a dog comes to Houndstown 2 or 3 times and has this very positive experience, it's trained to get into that scent cone.
So we get stories of customers that are pulling off the exit. They're a mile or 2 away, and the dog starts to get really excited. We even had one dog once. It must have been the summer, and the owners had the windows rolled down, and they pulled off the expressway. Right. The dog jumped out of the car and ran to the door at Houndstown.
Right. So that's where, let's go back to the human brain and the mammalian brain. So you don't have to ask us. I don't have to sell you on Houndstown Doggy Daycare. Allow your dog to come for 2 or 3 times and he'll tell you about Houndstown.
Right.
So he is our customer, as we always say. So if we're doing our job right, you're going to get dragged into the store in the morning, which you will if you have any doubt about that. come sit in our parking lot at 7 in the morning, and you'll watch customers, humans, getting dragged in. And conversely, as Jackie said earlier, they go home and they pass out because they had such a natural dog experience. So when we remove all of the toxic human thoughts that we would think we want for a dog, and so does that make sense? So the scent cone is a trade secret that most people don't even understand why it's happening.
Right. And the dogs are putting together this picture of fun. They just know a scent is attached to, I'm going to have this experience.
Right. And it's the most incredible thing. It's not a scent of dogs. So most people say it must smell the dog park or they must smell Houndstown. That's not the point. Your routine of getting there, he might smell a sewage treatment plant a mile away.
Yeah.
And the sewage treatment plant is the first indicator he's getting close through the scent cone. Now he gets closer. The next odor might be a restaurant.
Yeah.
A Taco Bell. Now he's taking the odor of the sewer treatment plant, the odor of the Taco Bell. Now we're getting close to the railroad. There might be some diesel fumes of our Long Island Railroad here.
Yeah.
So they're taking all of these odors. This is what's incredible. This is what makes them almost appear supernatural. And then they come, and obviously by the time they get to the point of the scent cone, which is Houndstown, they're apoplectic. Is that a word? I like to add new words.
And visually, there are some visual things happening too, right? Or is that's really like tertiary?
Extremely tertiary, because dogs don't see that well. I mean, at night they have night vision, but during the day you see without your LASIK vision or whatever the hell you said it was. You see better than dogs. Dogs see in kind of cloudy. They don't see details. That's the problem. This is why we talk about the electrician getting bitten.
Right.
Because they don't see. That's why they couldn't figure out Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe. So, no, actually, vision is less important to a dog.
Yeah, less important, but it's a part of the picture.
It is a part of the picture, but I like your word tertiary. It's not the primary. Odor is primary to a dog. That's why they hunt. That's why your dog, can go run out in the backyard in the middle of the night. You're one of them people that leave lights on for the dog. But dogs, think of your dog running around your house. They don't fall down the stairs into the basement. They don't trip over anything because they're navigating with all of these amazing things that nature gave them. So when people ask me, here's the thing that I've come up with. Because, I'm not overly impressed with the average domestic dog. I don't get, overly excited. And people ask me, how come? And I've seen dogs do things that look magical. I've seen them find bodies, lost children, that no technology in this world could ever do. So dogs, to me, are this super technology that can do, and this is your pet at home. These aren't special dogs. These aren't German Shepherd police dogs, don't come from a certain planet. These are just dogs. So every one of the dogs in our playrooms can do these supernatural things. But we don't do it for them. We don't allow it.
Well, the way we think as humans and see the world is just almost the opposite. So that creates some disconnection, right? Between really understanding what how the dog is experiencing life and how we are.
So here's the good news, and you alluded to this on one of the episodes. We're putting together mammalian games. And we've done this before. That way you could take your little pet at home and start playing mammalian games. Tap into what they want to do, not what you want to do.
Right.
So, they don't necessarily want to watch Netflix with you all day or get stuffed under the front seat of the Southwest Airlines. They want to live a dog's life. A dog's life means odor, introducing odor, hunting around. You see your dog. So we are going to put together a series of games, mammalian games, hide and seek. Hide and seek is the most basic mammalian game that everybody in the universe has played. Who hasn't played hide and seek? I used to play hide and seek, but nobody come look for me, so I didn't like that game.
That's so sad.
But no, seriously, think about everything we do, and this is where, I'm trying to say, our human brain and our mammalian brain. Think of football. We just saw a big football event. What are people doing? They're literally chasing the pigskin, which is an animal, and they're bringing it back to their goal, and they're fighting over it. So almost every interactive sport, whether children wrestling, Soccer. What is soccer? Soccer is a mammalian game. They're chasing a ball, trying to win it, or an item, prey item, and bring it back to their goal, and they get points for that.
Right. Okay.
Am I getting overly excited?
Getting overly excited.
I'm
so
sorry, Jackie.
the point is,
what?
the point is, there are things you can do in your home that are more sort of suited for the dog's needs, right? So instead of taking a dog for a leash walk, initiating this game of hide and seek with a human, either human, you don't even need to introduce food to it. There are a lot of different things that you can do to kind of connect to the animal brain more closely and give your dog a more enriching experience. So
absolutely. When we're training our franchisees, we tell them you're going to be bilingual. You have to take your neocortex off and tap into the mammalian brain that you never use unless there's some drama in you. You do use it, but you don't realize you're using it. When you go to bed at night, you're denning in your bed. When you sit on the same side of your couch and watch TV, those are mammalian traits. When I go to a restaurant and I corner myself in the corner of the restaurant so I can use my peripheral vision, you think I'm checking out the waitresses, but really what I'm doing, checking out the waitresses, but also my back is in the corner. That's a mammalian behavior. So anybody who can relate to that, where if you're uncomfortable sleeping on the opposite side of your bed, that's a mammalian problem. So all of these things, we eat in our kitchen. We focus our attention in our kitchen. Most people have these big, huge houses. And I know you get... She's her eyes.
There's lots of happening.
There's a lot happening. I had way too
All
much
right,
talk.
so let's bring this home.
Bring it home, Jack.
Let's bring it home. The point is, right?
I forgot the point.
We have to learn how there are simple ways to just tap into understanding how our dogs think and see the world a little bit better. And we are always considering that here at Houndstown. That's one of the main reasons why dogs love coming here, because this scent cone, as you're describing, it's just really interesting to understand what's happening from the dog's brain, because dogs can't talk. They can't tell us how they're thinking. So interesting to have that interpreted a little bit in more detail.
Right. So if everybody did themselves a favor and just sit back and watch your dog behavior and stop thinking like a human just for those moments in time. This is why we have the dogs, because they're authentic, they're real, and they have many of the needs you do, which is denning and affection and love. But understand the dog, and you'll have a much better relationship. As you said, walking dogs 5 times a day on a leash is when you have the opportunity to throw a ball in the backyard. Come on now. Why, Jackie?
All right. Well, that's our Mammalian Brain update. Not much of an update, but just a reminder of things you can do to kind of enrich your relationship with your dog from his point of view. So Thanks for joining. We'll see everybody next time.
Ciao.
Thanks for watching another exciting episode of the Dish on Dogs podcast. You can also watch us on YouTube on the Dish on Dogs podcast. If you're a listener, you can catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and all your other podcast platforms. For more information, click the link in the description. We'll see everybody next time.